Hello, my name is Bailey. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm starting a reading vlog, probably a week-long reading vlog, but you never know what happens, but that's the plan. I do have a few goals to achieve. A lot of them are goals that kind of are shifting over from last week's reading vlog, if you did see that, but I'm going to be rehashing it anyway. Basically, it's Friday, it's December 4th right now, and it's the weekend, finally! And I don't have too much homework in school because last week was really busy, so this week is not going to be too bad. Or at least this weekend isn't going to be too bad. So I should have quite a bit of time to read, which is mucho bueno. I'm going to jump right into the books because I can feel my eye beginning to water, and I want to film this clip before the waterworks begin. So let's get right into the books. So I've been reading this book since October, so I really want to finish it because it's just, I haven't had the time to finish it. So this is the week/weekend to do so. This is Shadow Kiss by Richelle Mead. This is the third book in the Vampire Academy series. The main character is Rose, and she is a Dampier. In this world, there are humans, which are of course just normal people. Dampiers, who are half human, half Moroi, and Moroi, who are like vampires. And then there's Strigoi, who are Moroi that have become immortal and completely dead, you know what I mean? Because Moroi vampires are not completely dead. They are vampires, but they're not dead. Strigoi are dead. Great. So Rose is a Dampier, and she has this best friend named Lisa, and they have this bond with each other, and basically in this society, Dampiers are guardians to the Moroi, keeping them alive, because the Strigoi are always coming after them. So Rose and Lisa just kind of know that Rose is going to be Lisa's guardian when they're older, because they're that tight, and they have this super unique magical bond. Anyway, the Vampire Academy part comes in because all the vampires and Dampiers go to these vampire academies throughout the world to learn about their society that coexists with normal society in secret. So yeah, like I said, this is the third book. Up till now, the series is taking place over 1 year of school, and it happens to be their last year of high school or Vampire Academy school. The first book takes place over the first few months, the second book takes place over winter break, and this takes place in the new year. Yeah, I'm really liking this series. It is very trashy, as with most, I feel paranormal kind of YA books. But in my opinion, sometimes you need a good trashy read, and this series is definitely good for that. It is generally pretty quick-paced, action-packed at the best of times, and very easy to read. This book in particular was published in 2007, so this series is old, and it just has all those classic YA tropes, and it's entertaining, so I'm enjoying it. I just need to finish it. This book in particular, though, I've been reading for a hot second, and it's been a little bit dry. I'm not upset about it per se, but I would like some action to start up soon, because all we're getting right now is miscommunication and information about Lisa that I don't really care about, because I don't really care about Lisa anymore. She was interesting in the first book, and now she's just really boring. I just want to hear about Rose and her drama in her love life and her general life and her magical life. I'm just interested in Rose. Also, there's a lot of miscommunication happening right now, and I hate that because it's just gonna blow up at some point somewhere else, and I just don't want to deal with that. But alas, that's what you kind of sign up for with this era of books. So generally, I'm enjoying this. I just kind of want the action to pick up soon. I am just over halfway, but we'll see. Next, we have Night by Elie Wiesel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. I need to read this and finish it by Tuesday for my LA class. I do know that this is a memoir of Elie Wiesel's experience during the Holocaust and in Auschwitz, so I don't really have anything else to say on this. World War II is very interesting to me, so I am quite intrigued by this book. So yeah, I do have to get this done by Tuesday, so I'll hopefully do that and not procrastinate that. Next, we have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This was lent to me by a friend of mine, and I have yet to read it, so I need to read that as soon as I finish this so that I can give this back to her as soon as possible. I actually don't have a synopsis for this, but if I do end up starting it this week, which I hope I will describe it then. But yeah, this book is so pretty, by the way. This is such a good cover. I think that this book was blessed with just beauty, but yeah, I don't know what this is about. I do kind of know what it's about. There's this multi-layered school that gets progressively deadlier, and I know the bottom is super deadly, and you have to fight your way out to graduate. That's kind of all I know, and I am excited to read this, so hopefully I can get to it this week, because I've been waiting to finish this and move on for so long. So those are my reading plans currently. They might change because I am quite the mood reader, and I also can't make plans and stick to them often, so we shall see. But that's the current plan. I'm gonna go watch Inside Out with my mom now because she has a school project on it, so I will catch you later, and I'll hopefully read a bit of Shadow Kiss tonight and be able to make a little bit of progress. Like, ideally I want to get to like maybe at least 60% today because I am like 50% through. You know, slow and steady wins the race, but I've been going way too slow, so like we need to speed up. But yeah, welcome to the vlog. Let's get this bread. Hey pals, so here's what's up. You know I mentioned I need to have this done by tomorrow? Well, I haven't even started it, so I need to read this today. By the way, it's like midway through the day. I've already done 2 of my classes, and now I have a spare, meaning I have about a 2-hour break. So I'm gonna try and read like maybe 40 pages of this, and then like, you know, binge the rest of it tonight. This is a short book. It's like 115, 116 pages, so it's short, but it's like majorly depressing apparently. And that's not something that like lends itself to be binge read, but we're gonna have to do it. I'll update you on my other reading once I finish this because I really need to just go on this. But I have read a bit more of Shadow Kiss. This is a first-hand account of Elie Wiesel's experience in Auschwitz during World War II. So I gotta go because I really don't have time to waste because I need this done by tomorrow's class. So that's the plan. Wowza, getting bangs was one of the worst decisions. Not because they looked bad, because now that I'm growing them out, they can never sit in a position that is not literally hideous. Like, what is this? Not good. That's the answer. Like, what the fuck is that? Anyway, night. I'm about 55 pages through, which is not even halfway, and it is 9:30. So I need to finish this now. Like, I need to just, like, buckle down and read. Problem is I'm not good at that, so I think I'm gonna read in like bursts. So I think I'm gonna read for like 25 minutes and then take like a 10-minute break and then read for like 25 minutes until I finish it, or get at least like 10 pages from the end, because if I get to that point, like, one, it'll be easy to finish like tomorrow morning, or I'll just like do it at some point before class. But like, this book is really slow to read for me, not because I don't want to read it, but because like my mind just doesn't feel like in the mood to speed read through somebody's tragic experience. Just not really vibing. But I'm gonna try and read as fast as possible while still intaking the novel. So yeah, that's the update. We're almost halfway through, so let's get this bread. There, my hair is getting better and better. It's 10:08 and I just hit page 70, so I'm over halfway through. I think I have like 35 or 36 pages left, so we're making progress. I think this is doable. So go me. I would give you thoughts on this book, but it's very hard to do that, you know what I mean? Because like, this is somebody's first-hand account of their experience in the Holocaust, and who am I to say anything about that? So I'm going to go and take like a 10 or so minute break and then come back and try and finish this book. So yeah, before I take that break that I just mentioned, I wanted to point out that I just searched up the pronunciation for his name. So I do believe it's Elie Wiesel. If I'm still saying it wrong, I'm very sorry, but that's the consensus I've reached based on the internet, is that it's Elie Wiesel. It's like 1:15 in the morning, but I finished it. I'm very tired, so I don't really want to talk about this right now, but I did finish it, so yay me. Hello. So it's like the day now, not the early morning, and I can talk to you about night a bit. I don't have too much to say, but I will share some of my brief thoughts. I wrote very brief notes. But basically what I said about this before, that's a first-hand account of Elie Wiesel's experience in Auschwitz and other camps, concentration camps, is true. That is the whole premise of the book. And I'm not going to rate this. I don't feel that it's my place to rate this man's experience in the Holocaust. And this is going to be kind of contradictory, but if I was going to rate it, I feel like I'd have to rate it 5 stars. But at the same time, I feel uncomfortable rating it 5 stars because I'm saying that, like, your experience, 5 stars. Like, that's so weird to me. Like, I know that's not, like, actually what it's saying. And if you did rate this book, I'm not criticizing you. But I personally feel uncomfortable rating it. That being said, this book, I think, was really important. And obviously it's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, so, like, you don't really need me to tell you that, but it was really interesting and enlightening, and, like, I have basic knowledge of World War II from social classes I've taken, and it was very, very interesting, and I think helpful, and, again, eye-opening. Just, like, reading someone's actual experience really put into perspective, and like, really opened my eyes to how people were treated in concentration camps, because, like, I knew that it wasn't good, and I knew generally what would happen, but, like, the day-to-day stuff, like, aside from, like, the gas chambers and the crematoriums, seeing, like, the day-to-day more so was very interesting, and obviously heartbreaking. This book is not happy in any way, really. It is hard to read. I didn't cry or anything. I know some people might be more sensitive to that kind of stuff, but it is very heartbreaking to read because you're just reading about this time that you wouldn't think could happen. A line I think that's really good, and, like, I tabbed here, is, "I cannot believe that human beings were being burned in our times. The world would never tolerate such crimes." And I think that that line stuck with me because it just points out how, like, in everybody's generation, you say things like, well, we could never tolerate that. That could never happen in our time. And then things do, you know? So, like, expecting good from humanity is sometimes to a fault because any bad things can happen in any generation and you never know when it's going to start happening. These people didn't think this was going to happen before the war, so it's, you know, I thought that was really interesting. It is very short, and I think it does pack a big punch in, like, the impact, obviously, but also this book is very concise. There is none of that flowery language or, like, kind of filler metaphor. It's pretty much like event to event to event, and I really, really like that because I am one who does not love excessive flowery metaphor and excessive description. That's not really my thing. So I did really enjoy the way this was written. I think it made it more impactful because you got straight to the point, you know, like, point blank period, this is what happened. This book was excellent. I think that it's very important in regards to keeping the memory of the Holocaust and what happened during it alive and making sure we don't, like, forget it, because obviously history repeats itself, and even now we can see in some places in the world the Holocaust in some ways is kind of repeating itself, and I think that stuff like this really is good to make sure that we keep that in our minds, at least somewhat, so that we don't end up falling into the same cycle. So yeah, that was night. I had it on my Clear Your Shit readathon TBR for book with a blue/water theme. This does not have a water theme, I don't think, but it is blue. It's like navy. So I get to cross it off. Let me do that. Ta-da! I'm slowly but surely getting through some of these. But yeah, I have to go to school, and I also have to take a shower today because I have not washed my hair in a hot second because I have not had the time for it, which is sad. So yeah, I will catch you hopefully later today or maybe tomorrow. But I've actually been productive. I'm kind of happy because, like, I've completed a goal for this reading vlog. Yay!
So certainly it's a central point of, and I think we'll move on to Bailey, your section.
Alright, so, like, the context of the quote I'm doing is on page 101. This is when they're in, like, the roofless cattle cars and, like, the snow is coming down, and it's the crust of bread scene where, like, the father and son, like, well, the son kills the father and then he gets killed. So, like, the specific quote is, "The old man mumbled something, groaned, and died. Nobody cared. His son searched him, took the crust of bread, and began to devour it." So, this is, like, obviously a direct contrast to Elie and his dad, and, like, while Elie has struggled with remaining empathetic and looking out for his father throughout the book, he does. Like, he does keep looking after him, he does keep giving him extra rations when he's sick later on. And it just kind of shows, like, I don't think it's a critique of others' way that they've had to change their mindset to survive, but it does show that a lot of people have had to become apathetic to everyone to survive.
Okay, thank you, Bailey. We've got the last section.
I always film in my bedroom, like all the clips are in my bedroom, so I was like, I'm gonna go to the living room to spice it up. So, yay. I have an update. I finally finished Shadow Kiss by Richelle Mead, the third book in the Vampire Academy series. And oh my god, okay. It was not my favorite throughout the middle. It's still not my favorite in the series. Like, I'd give the beginning and middle like a 3-star. Then the last like 200 pages hit, and I ended up giving this a 5-star. I'd say this is like a low 5-star. Like, if I had to specify, maybe it's like a 4.5. Like, the second book is still my favorite in the series, but this one, like, it got me at the end so much. Like, okay, I can't even, like, I don't know how to describe my thoughts because this is the third book, but the middle, like, the middle and beginning focused so much on Lisa that I was not happy because I really don't give a shit about Lisa at all. But the ending started focusing on Rose again. And it was so good. Like, I was so emotional at the end. And then at the very, very end, oh my gosh, it got me. Because, like, we had this, like, relationship and character development happening at the end. And I was so hyped about it. And then the end happened. And I was so incredibly upset. And I'm still upset. Like, I can't even believe the end happened still. I'm still reeling. It was hours ago that I finished this book, and I'm still reeling, because I'm like, that couldn't have happened. That actually happened? It just doesn't make, it couldn't have happened. It's insane. And I hate saying that because, like, you don't know what happened. So it's, like, hard to explain it without explaining it, but major character thing happened, and it was intense. And it's still intense. And I don't know how I'm supposed to move on and start reading this like I said I would, when this just happened and I need to pick up Blood Promise because what was the end? Like, I'm so insanely shocked and emotionally fried because the end, like, I was crying. This is so undescriptive. I can't even explain it, but, like, it shocked me. I didn't see it coming. But aside from, like, the big thing that I was just talking about, there's a notification. There's a ghost character throughout this book, and at the end, they finally get to move on, and it made me so emotional, because, like, the whole time they had, like, a perpetual, like, sad face, and at the end, they, like, smiled a little bit, and I was, like, crying my eyes out. This series looks like trash, sounds like trash, is trashy, but then it just gets me. Like, it just gets me in my feels a lot of time in the finales. Wow, this is such quality video. Anyway, I'm editing this and I just wanted to add in, this series I think is getting less trashy. The first book I would say is, like, has a lot, it's very, very tropey, and it's very, again, only word I can use to describe it is, like, kind of trashy. There's a lot of, like, girl-on-girl hate, for example, and, like, pining for guys, and, like, your whole motivation is romance. But then I find that, like, after the second book and what happened in the second book, characters began maturing more, so the rest of the series is getting more, like, it's moving to be more, like, serious and kind of less, like, obviously cringy, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just thought I'd add that in because I think the series does have some merit. So yeah, also things being trashy isn't a bad thing. So anyway, yeah, just thought I'd add in this little tidbit. But I can't continue the series right now because I have so many other things I need to read this year, or, like, I really, really want to. So I feel like I need to just put it on hold, control myself and put it on hold, and start Blood Promise and start the series again in January so that I can get my end of the year reading done. But it's gonna be hard because the ending of this really, like, it wasn't per se a cliffhanger, but, like, so many reveals happen and so many, like, things happen, and then it just ended. This is the thing when you get farther into series, main characters and, like, prominent characters, like, they're not immune. Shit starts happening to them, and it just shocks me every time I read anything fantasy because I'm like, oh, they're not immune. They could die. They could have permanent damage done to them. What I will say, though, about the beginning and the middle is that it was very slow, for me at least. And, like, it did take me over a month to read this, not just because of this, like, the book's content, but also because of my own, like, life stuff. but the beginning and the middle were a little bit dry for me. Especially, like I said, it focused a lot on Lisa, and the thing is, I don't care about Lisa at all, and I think the next book won't focus as much on her because of the circumstances of the end of this book, which I'm excited for. Like, I want to see Rose content because I like Rose and I'm interested in what's going on with Rose most of the time, and Lisa, to me, is a little bit, like, self-centered but not on purpose, and just, like, always in, like, trouble. She's always got problems going on, and I don't like her. So I'm sick of Lisa. I'm glad that I think that we're getting more Rose and, like, the end. I knew that the book was building to something because, like, obviously there was so much downtime and so much, like, research, and there was a lot of revelations happening, like, tiny ones. And I knew it was building to something, and it built. And the end was good. Like, the climax, like, the action that we finally got, like, the payoff of the action at the end was so good. I love the action. I like when they're actually going out and, like, killing Strigoi, and, like, she's actually fighting because she's so good at it. I like to watch her doing it instead of just hearing people always telling her how good she is. So yeah, that was Shadowkiss. Finally finished this. I'm very glad that it's off of my currently reading because I was kind of getting sick of seeing it there. I hate these covers, and I just hated having to look at this every time I go on Goodreads. This was a ride, and I'm not sure I'm glad I went on it because I'm now emotionally very sad and confused, and I don't want to have a book hangover because that's what happens a lot with fantasy for me. Like, I get into a book hangover right after I read something with such, like, a like, intense ending and, like, emotional ending. But I'm gonna try and not have a book hangover because I really can't do that right now. And I'm gonna try and start A Deadly Education, but, like, it's hard to want to read this when I'm still reeling from this. But I do have an assignment to do tonight, so I can't start this right away. But it's the next thing on the agenda, hopefully. Maybe. Cross our fingers. Hopefully I can motivate myself to actually follow through. I will update you when and if, I guess, I start A Deadly Education, but I'm reeling. Like, she really did that. She really did that. Hello. So I have come to the realization that this vlog has existed for a week. So I'm here to end this vlog. I feel like trash. My uterus has decided it wants to bleed, which is delightful, and I'm one of those uterus-blessed people that is also blessed with horrid menstrual pain. So, clearly in a great mood. But to wrap up this vlog, I just needed to point out that I just finished Hamlet officially. I did all my school assignments about Hamlet without having read Act 4 and 5 because I just didn't feel like it. Review, I don't want to rate this because I really just don't care to. Maybe one day I will, but right now I don't want to. I read up to about this point in the play and loved it. Like, I was loving it up until the to be or not to be soliloquy. And then the rest of the play I just hated because it just went on for so long, and, like, as with most Shakespeare, some of it is just pure gibberish. I don't understand why we have to read this for school. I understand why it's important to, like, society and literature as a whole, but I don't get what the point of reading this in school is. Like, if you take, like, a Shakespeare class in university, by all means, read Shakespeare, who cares? But I don't think you need Shakespeare for life, you know what I mean? But one thing I did enjoy reading this was, like, when you kind of come across little lines that have been absorbed into just casual language, you know, over the years. That was kind of fun. I can't think of any right now because I'm very fried and my mind is just out of it. In general, this was just too long. And, like, it made little to no sense, and, like, the whole play section in the middle was just so annoying to read because I'm like, there's a play in the play, like, can we move on? Can he actually just kill Claudius and so we could be done with this? See, I relate to Hamlet because I procrastinate too, but I don't make people read, like, 300-page plays about it. Anyways, so yeah, I finished this finally. Hooray. I plan to read A Deadly Education this week. I'll probably start a vlog, like, either today or tomorrow for next week. And then I also plan to read something else, but I'll talk to you about that when we get there. I've been Bailey. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.